My name is Snow, and me and my husband Curt, we've spent the past 4 years traveling all across Latin America in our van. One entire year of that was in Mexico. So we feel pretty qualified to talk to you about the next 5 items. We're going to go over 5 things about Mexico that you might not know. Number 1, the all-inclusive resorts in Cabo and Cancun and the stopping points that the cruise ships make, that is not authentic Mexico. Yes, it's welcoming. Yes, it's beautiful and colorful. It's expensive because it is a tourist destination. It's kind of like going to Disney World. If you want to see real, authentic Mexico, you have to get off the beaten path. So you need to know that going to Cancun is not a representation of how beautiful, kind, welcoming, and culturally explosive Mexico is. We highly encourage everyone that's going down to Mexico, figure out how to get off the beaten path, even just a little bit. Number 2, Mexico's roads are horrible. You can't get from one side of Mexico to the other in a car. This is false. Traveling across Mexico in a van is actually very easy. Mexico does have bad roads. The local roads, the roads in smaller areas connecting small town to small town, yes, they can be adventurous. They can be pothole filled. They can get narrow. There's stuff that can happen on the roads in Mexico, but what you need to know is Mexico actually has a very advanced interstate and toll road system. It is very easy to get from one side of Mexico all the way to the other in a vehicle, so you can do your exploring off the beaten path. So do not worry, you will be able to travel safely across Mexico in a vehicle if that's something you want to do. Number 3, you have to speak Spanish if you're going to spend more than a week or 2 in Mexico. I can categorically tell you this is false. When me and Curt crossed the border from San Diego to Tijuana, we didn't speak Spanish. I could say hola, adios, gracias, and baños. Those are the 4 words I knew when I crossed into the Baja Peninsula. What you need to know is most Mexicans speak a small amount of English, and a lot of them are actually quite advanced in their English speaking. They are taught that from a young age in school in Mexico. It's considered a second language that they want a lot of their citizens to know, and a lot of them do. The Mexican people, as long as you try and you're not rude and you smile, they will laugh at you and they will help you as you're trying to fumble your way through figuring out where to go, how to buy something, where the next town is, do I turn left or right? They're going to smile with you, but they're going to help you get there. So do not worry about not speaking Spanish. You can still go have an amazing time down in Mexico, even if you get way off the beaten path. We can tell you that 100% with confidence. Number 4, we've all heard the crime is terrible in Mexico. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you there's not crime in Mexico. There's crime in every country. You just have to know which areas you should avoid. And that's a topic for a whole other video. But you need to know that 95% of Mexico is incredibly safe. And you may have heard that the crime in Mexico is so bad that you can't drive at night. Well, there's some truth to that. You don't drive at nighttime in Mexico. But it's not because the crime is bad. It is because if you're not on one of the main highway systems, the roads are bad. It's literally too dangerous to drive on some of these smaller roads at night for many reasons. There are unmarked speed bumps that are not painted with no signage warning you in crazy places. Livestock roams freely across most of the country. Potholes. The maintenance on the smaller highway systems are not so good, so if there's been heavy rains, there could be washouts. Other vehicles might not have headlights or brake lights. Blinkers are not guaranteed. Farming equipment on the road, and a lot of cows just roaming around. So as the sun starts to set in Mexico, You're going to want to be parked somewhere. You are not going to want to be driving at night in Mexico, but it is not because of the crime. Number 5. You've probably heard that the police in Mexico are corrupt and can't be trusted. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every single policeman is 100% trustworthy in Mexico or any country for that matter. But what I can tell you from our 1 year of experience in Mexico, driving thousands of miles back and forth all across the country, is we encountered one policeman. And we were stopped many times because there are legitimate police checkpoints that are a normal and routine thing down in Mexico. But at one stop, one time out of an entire year, we had a policeman try to get some money out of us. Now that tells me that 99.9% of the police are just out there doing their job and aren't going to bother you. The 0.1%, well, maybe we'll do a video on how we handled that, but we didn't pay him any bribe money and we drove away with smiles on our face. So what you need to know is the police in Mexico, they're not corrupt. Just maybe a couple of bad apples, but not something that you need to worry about. So with that, we hope those 5 topics kind of answer a few little unknown things about traveling in Mexico, especially if you're traveling in a vehicle. And we encourage everyone to go down, get off the beaten path in Mexico. It's a beautiful country, and maybe we'll see you out on the road.